I now recognize the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Byron Donalds, for 5 minutes of testimony.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity and members of the committee as well. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the ability to come and testify, members of the committee who are here in attendance. To get to the point, the purpose of being here is to discuss the border crisis and to make sure that the committee is aware of 3 relevant legislative initiatives that are coming from my office. The first is the Reform Immigration Through Biometrics Act. This is actually a piece of legislation that Mr. Higgins from Louisiana is a co-sponsor of. The second is the CPB Act, and the third is the Safeguard Americans from Intrusive Federal Data Collection Act. I represent Florida's 19th Congressional District, which covers Lee County and Collier County in Southwest Florida. The out-of-control border is impacting my district the same way it's impacting every district throughout these United States. In 2021, the top 2 destination states for apprehended migrants awaiting their parole hearing were Texas and Florida. Let me stress that again, Texas and Florida. When a migrant is released into our country, very rarely do they actually go for the subsequent immigration hearing. In 2019, over $2 billion in Florida alone was spent to provide illegal aliens with Medicaid, emergency health care, and schooling. Additionally, last year, the Florida legislature allocated $12 million for illegal alien relocation because our state was being burdened by these issues. And it's obviously been widely reported that our governor actually moved some of these migrants to Martha's Vineyard and the rest. But the point is clear. Florida was being burdened by migrants coming into our country through all these various programs. I want to get right to the policies that we were discussing here. The first is the Reform Immigration Through Biometrics Act. As a member of the Oversight and Accountability Committee, it's important to ensure that agencies are following their statutory directive. In 2004, the 9/11 Commission directed DHS to implement a comprehensive biometric entry-exit system. The directive was solidified into U.S. Code in 2006. To date, DHS has fully implemented a biometric entry system for foreign nationals, but not a comprehensive biometric exit system. The exit system still does not exist. This is unacceptable. What my bill would do is provide much-needed oversight for the implementation of this statutory directive to ultimately determine why DHS hasn't fulfilled their directive almost 2 decades later. A couple of key points. CPB has partially deployed a biometric entry-exit system at select airports and seaports and all pedestrian lanes at both borders. But a comprehensive biometric entry system is worthless without the exit system, as DHS must rely on estimates to determine whether individuals have overstayed their visas. Mr. Chairman, that's just not going to work. You're not going to have a sound process for managing visas in our country if we know when people come in, but we never know when they leave. And that's just a prudent thing to do for our country. The second bill is called the CPB Act. Its title is fully Corralling Aliens with Biometrics and Penalties Act. This bill will require all aliens participating in the Alternatives to Direction program to simply check in with their DHS secretary. If an alien fails to meet the obligation of checking in with the Department of Homeland Security, they are subject to immediate deportation. Why is this important? If you are coming in to our country, but you're not checking in with a relevant agent at the Department of Homeland Security, then there are serious questions about what you're doing in our country. This is a very simple thing. A couple of statistics. Currently, in the Alternatives to Detention program, there are 190,000 participants. In 2019, there were 101,000 participants. In 2015, there was 26,000 participants. There's been a 283% increase for use of this program. And so what this bill simply wants to do is ensure that people are checking in. The bill ensures that aliens are participating with the agency program. They maintain contact with DHS agents, and they are aware of what's happening with the current process of their immigration hearings. It provides much needed oversight. I think this is a key piece of legislation that we need to have move forward to help secure our nation. The last bill is very different from the other two. This is the Safeguard Americans from Intrusive Federal Data Collection. Now, I'm a CLEAR member. A lot of members of Congress use CLEAR. A lot of citizens use CLEAR. Clear is a program that takes your biometric data and then it makes it easier for you to move through airport screening, so you don't have to go in the long line. If you're TSA pre-check, that's a different data set, but Clear allows you to use biometrics. This bill will prohibit the Department of Homeland Security from collecting biometric data on American citizens after a trial period in connected with one of these programs. Biometrics would definitely assist with combating illegal immigration and visa overstays, but biometric information collected against American citizens on a temporary basis should not be allowed, and it should not be retained by the federal government. In short, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for having this opportunity for members to come and provide different pieces of legislation that they feel will help this committee and help Congress do our job and secure this nation. And the last thing I will add, Joe Biden needs to secure the border. Mr. Chairman, enough is enough. He can do it tomorrow. He can do it today. I'll help him write the executive order myself. And with that, I yield back.